Co-Chairman, SICKI Retail Committee, Mr. Kumar Vembu, Founder and CEO, Go Frugal Technologies, Executive Committee members, and friends. Wishing you all a very good morning. On behalf of SICKI, we would like to warmly welcome you for today's meeting. We certainly appreciate each of your presence with us for this important event today. Would first like to appreciate the presence of our past president, Mr. Balasubramanian, with us today. Mr. Balasubramanian was SICKI's first president from the entertainment sector. He has led our delegation to Vietnam and also hosted the King of Belgium during his tenure. On a personal note, Mr. Balasubramanian is my fellow honorary consul from Chennai. As most of you will be aware, while I represent the Czech Republic in Chennai, Mr. Balasubramanian represents Paraguay. I would now like to share a few words about SICKI and its uniqueness. As you all might know, SICKI has completed 111 years of service to industry, government, and society. We were founded in the year 1909 under the inspiration of Mahatma Gandhi. SICKI has hence inherited a rich tradition while at the same time remaining youthful, dynamic, and embracing change. During the past 18 months, we have been effectively driving robustness, vibrancy with abundant growth. Let me take this opportunity to outline a few of our initiatives for your benefit that we have been able to accomplish within this 18 months. We today have a fold of over 25 working committees, including those on aerospace and defense, technology, infrastructure, food and nutrition, retail, as you can see from today, supply chain management, among others. I would like to take this opportunity in turn to talk about two specific committees. The first one is Aerospace and Defense has been a new foray that we got into about 15 months ago. We have been partnering significantly with the Ministry of Defense, Government of India. We've been partnering with the Government of Tamil Nadu, various foreign missions, as well as industry. We have not only conducted events within aerospace and defense, but have also released value-added knowledge reports for industry's benefit. We have also enabled industry matchmaking sessions that are propelling growth. The second committee that I would like to also talk to you about today is that of our Food and Nutrition Committee that we started as well about 15 months ago. Here too, we have been partnering with the Ministry of Food Processing, Government of India. We've partnered with the Government of Tamil Nadu, FSSAI, as well as NABARD. We conducted the National Expo and Conclave last October, which turned out to be an international event with a good number of international guests participating, and it well showcased Tamil Nadu's products and services. SICKI has been an extremely effective bridge between industry and government, and we have achieved this through the various events that we've conducted, the knowledge reports, including surveys and coffee table books that we have released over the last 12 months. We have also been working with several countries virtually in order to be able to bridge the gap. We have been able to increase our government interfacing and have established a very close rapport with both the state and central governments. We have become the go-to chamber for most foreign missions, whether any of these missions are coming here as a get-to-know mission towards industry meets, or for that matter, even matchmaking among industry. We also regularly lead delegations. We have led delegations to Israel, Vietnam, and Myanmar just before the pandemic, and we are planning to lead one to the Czech Republic later this year. SICKI has recently engaged in several value-added projects, including that of working with the Chennai Metro Rail towards establishing the Reader's Lounge in the Metro Rail stations. We are now working on electric vehicles, coming up with the Center of Excellence to be established in both Chennai as well as Southern Tamil Nadu. We've been working with the Government of Tamil Nadu towards establishing mind gyms in schools in order to be able to assist our children cope with the post-pandemic scenario. We've been working on Industry 4.0 pilot test centers to be able to propel MSMEs within the manufacturing sector. We are working on a startups exchange along with the Sister Cities desk, among the various other proposals that we're working on. We have also maintained a very good government interaction. We have met the Chief Minister through MK Stalin 4 times within the last 12 months, and we also maintained regular interactions with the Commerce and Industries Minister, Government of India, with the latest one being few weeks back. SICKI has also maintained a very good connect with the global Tamil diaspora. We have linkages with over 300 associations from over 38 countries. We recently hosted a panel discussion as part of the Government of Tamil Nadu's Diaspora Day celebrations. SICKI has also expanded its presence across South India. We have been working with the Government of Puducherry on various different programs. One such is scheduled for next month, the 23rd. This is towards a CXO conclave to be able to propel industry there. We are also working with the government of Andhra Pradesh, with Sri City in particular, to be able to propel industry as well. We are planning to expand this reach in the coming time frame. SICKI has also established a global presence. A good example of this has been us working with the Handlooms Department of Government of the Handlooms Department of the Government of Tamil Nadu in order to be able to take handlooms to other parts of the world where our Tamil diaspora are established. We recently did a conclave with the people in Dubai, where we had over 100 people from Dubai participating with the 50 others around the world. And this was a hugely successful program. We plan to take this roadshow, the Handlooms Roadshow, to other parts of the world as well. At the same time, we have effectively been managing our engagement with other stakeholders within Tamil Nadu too. We have had seminars in Tirunelveli, Tuticorin, Madurai, as well as Trichy. All of this within the last 3 months in order to be able to interact with industry there and propel industrial activity in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Another new initiative that we have started has been the monthly SICKI 360 series that I myself have been hosting. We have since completed 18 extremely value-added and successful sessions, each with globally renowned guests, and each of our guests have shared with us their all-round paths to excellence. We have in fact also had Mr. Sridhar Vembu as one of our guests. I would now like to say a few words about the retail sector. The retail sector is an extremely important sector within any economy for that matter. It's what I refer to as a bread and butter sector, meaning no matter what position the economy is in, there's always sustaining demand. This has also been obvious from the recent pandemic and lockdowns. The reason being, no matter what the environment has been, there's always been demand for the retail sector. One of the main reasons for this has been e-commerce. It has been SICKI's stand that retailers need to pursue digitization relentlessly. India is the 5th largest and preferred retail destination globally. The pandemic has effectively accelerated the shift to e-commerce by 5 years, boosting some businesses while nearly bankrupting others. Those with strong e-commerce strategies in place or the ability to quickly pivot and deliver an omni-channel experience are certainly poised to be able to reap huge rewards. This is exactly where new age technology will determine who survives and thrives, as technology will distinguish who makes a difference. During the COVID-19 crisis, one area that has seen tremendous growth is digitization, meaning everything from online customer service to remote working to supply chain reinvention to the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning are there to improve operations. However, there is still a primacy to brick and mortar that can't be entirely replaced by a website, since stores evoke experiences and sensations that a website absolutely can't. We believe technology is not an end by itself. Technology rests on human ability to use it. Technology enhances human ability. It helps us achieve objectives faster and better. Our focus, therefore, is on strengthening the technology adoption within the retail sector, thereby equipping them for the future. It is in this context that I would like to place on record the excellent work done by SICKI's Retail Committee under the able direction of Dr. Gibson. And today's session has been the third session that we are holding within this knowledge sharing sessions. We'll certainly look forward to more such sessions in the coming time frame. Importantly, I would like to encourage Dr. Gibson and his retail committee to conduct a much bigger annual expo and conclave, perhaps enabling another flagship program for SICKI and achieving a larger number of stakeholders to benefit in the process. Talking about the SICKI website that we are going to be launching, the new SICKI website that we are going to be launching today, as part of the new directions that we have set upon ourselves during recent times, We have been working to completely revamp our website to get in tune with the time, making it more dynamic in the process. After months of hard work and dedication, we are delighted to officially announce the launch of this redesigned website. Our goal within this new website is to provide our visitors with an easier way to learn about the Chamber's services and stay updated. We will be constantly updating our content with helpful information, articles, blogs, newsletters, and announcements. When you have a few minutes, please review our news site. You will feel the commitment, the passion, and dedication of everyone within the Chamber. We certainly appreciate your thoughts on how our efforts have resonated with you. In closing, we would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. V.N. Shivashankar, Vice President SICI, Mr. M.V.S. Mani, Chair of SICI's Technology Committee, Mr. Gopi Kotishwaran, Chair of SICI's Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Startups Committee, and Mr. M. Somasundram, Chair of SICI's Tamil Technology Development Committee, for their inputs to our website development effort. I would certainly like to thank Mr. M. Balasubramaniam for agreeing to launch the new SICI website, and we look forward to his continuing support. Would also like to take this opportunity to appreciate the efforts of Mrs. Bhavani Srinivasan, SICI's Assistant Secretary, as well as our Secretariat team for their efforts to complete this important milestone, along with our development partner, Consign IT. We appreciate each one of you for being with us today, and we look forward to your continuing support in the days to come. Thank you, and wishing you safe times ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your warm welcome, sir. Now I request Mr. M. Balasubramanian, past President SICI, to deliver a few words and to launch the new website, sir. Sir, over to you.
Morning. I thank SICI President A.R.R. Arun, dear friend of mine and a fellow honorary consul, for giving me the opportunity to launch the new website of 111 years old Southern Indian Chamber of Commerce. President Arun has been doing a wonderful work during this epidemic time with the SICI 360 sessions very successfully. Over 18 meetings have been over, I believe. I place on record my sincere thanks to the mentor and past President Dr. A.C. Muthaya and past President R. Muthu, who are responsible for giving the coveted post as President of SICI during the 99th year from the film industry. I wish today's expert speak on retail growth, informative and useful session. Thank you very much.
Sir, requesting you to kindly launch the website, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can go ahead.
Yes, sir. So thank you, sir. Thank you for your support and accepting our request to launch a new website today, sir. Looking forward to your continued support, sir. Thank you. Shyam, can you just stop sharing the screen, please? Thank you all for joining us for launching our new website. Now we move on to our next session. I request Mr. Dr. Gibson Vedamani, Co-Chair, Sikki Retail Committee, founder and CEO, retailversity.com, author, Retail Beyond Retail, to take over the session. I welcome Mr. Kumar Vembu, founder, CEO, GoFrogul Technology, to join us for the discussion. Welcoming you both, sir. Sir, over to you.
Thank you so much. It's so nice, and I feel so happy to be here this morning with the dignitaries of Sikki and also with the industry, stalwarts. Sikki has been doing a wonderful job. I mean, with the current President, Mr. A.R.M. Arun, and also a lot of past presidents have contributed to the success of Sikki's work here, especially in the southern parts of India. I know that lots of work have been done, in terms of helping, industrialists across sectors. And it's so nice that Sikki has identified retail as one of the significant areas of focus this time, as President mentioned. So it's so nice to see that Sikki is supporting the industry. Sikki has come forward to help retailers grow across sectors and help with the necessary resources for the industry to grow from strength to strength. The other thing that I noticed was that most of the online meetings do not start on time. And today we started dot at 11 o'clock, and that's, commendable. I mean, that's the time consciousness that, we have had. And I appreciate Mrs. Bhavani Srinivasan for coordinating the whole team like that. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to share our thoughts on retail, the IT fuel, the retail growth in India. So innovations for retail, IT innovations for retail growth. And Mr. Kumar Vembu has been journeying with us in retail for quite a long time. I mean, since the time organized sector started growing, and he has been of great support to a lot of retailers. So it will be very nice to hear his thoughts. Before that, I'll just give a small, kind of an introduction to what we are going to be doing. If you look at retailing has been, in India since, time immemorial, because we have had the unorganized retail for a very long time. It is only in the last 20-25 years that we are seeing growth in the organized sector. We've had our own pains. We did not have proper real estate for retail. That means we had real estate only on the high street. So small stores only were available. Later, only in the late 90s and early 2000s, we started having proper real estate infrastructure for retail. And that's the time when, large retail formats started coming up. And then we had, the malls started coming up, only during the mid 2000s. So, lots of constraints we had. We didn't have people to serve in retail, because it was thought that it was below people's dignity to work in retail stores. So we didn't have people. So we had to go and, look around for people. And even a graduate would not like to work on the retail floors. So those things were, those were the days when people are retailing seriously, until kind of many large retailers started coming into the scenario, the retail sector. It's just in the mid 2000s, say in 2006, Reliance jumped in. I mean, they were in the core sector, and suddenly they started planning for an entry into retail, and they wanted to be the number one retailing organization in India. And you know that they've kind of spread around across formats in retail. And that's the time when everybody, kind of thought of retailing seriously. Before that, it was real estate. And when real estate was not, picking up so well, I mean, there was a lag in the real estate industry's growth. That particular point in time, people wanted to put real estate to various other use, and that's when builders started, kind of becoming retailers and riders. Shop Stop was one of them in the early 90s itself. So the industry has gone through a big change, a transformation, and quite a lot of factors have played a major role in the growth of retailing. When all these inadequacies were there also, it is the IT processes, the IT systems have actually improved retail process in the organized sector. The retail systems, the IT packages, that time we had very few ERPs, and a lot of research went in to kind of build legacy systems for retail. And when these things were implemented in retail stores, these systems automatically brought in best practices for retail. I mean, best practices in the areas of retail operations, where customer interfaces were kind of recorded properly, loyalties were, customer loyalties were supported by IT, and stock efficiencies were, inventory efficiencies were supported by IT. So IT has played a major role as far as this organized retail is concerned. So retailing has, it's about a $600 billion industry currently in India. We are moving towards a $1 trillion consumption. I mean, we are already there. And out of the $600 billion, I mean, only 12% is organized, and 3% is e-commerce. So apart from this 15%, 85% still remains unorganized. I mean, look at retail after agriculture. It is retailing that people get into so easily. I mean, you see the expansion of a city, roads expand, and then by the both flanks of the road, you see retail stores coming up, and that's what retail growth has been. Currently, I don't know that it's a city like Bangalore, or it's a town like Madurai, or it's or Coimbatore or Vijayawada. What you see is, as these towns and cities expand, you see retailers, setting up shop everywhere. I mean, most of the high streets, the ground floors and first floors are, are meant for retail currently. I mean, so brick and mortar retail is here to stay, and alongside that, e-commerce that grows as well. E-commerce though grows slowly. Brick and mortar's growth in terms of an absolute number is becoming bigger and bigger. So Mr. Kumar Vembu, with his Go Frugal Technologies, has been working on this 85% sector more, in a more focused manner. So I would like to ask, as a first question for discussion with Mr. Vembu, is to see how significant is IT and its application for small retailers, because we see a lot of small retailers and mid-sized retailers. So how significant is IT? And he got into the retail sector mostly focused on smaller retailers, and that's where he found the gap, and he built his business, over the last 20 plus years. So how significant is IT for this sector, Mr. Kumar Vembu? That's my first question for discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Gibson, and I definitely agree with you that these are exciting times to be in retail, because as infrastructure is getting built over the country, we see more and more brick and mortar stores everywhere. So as far as the importance of IT is concerned, see, it's very simple. Currently, IT has become a sort of a must-have, or a foundation or hygiene factor for a retail business, or for most other businesses. The main reason is that especially if you take the independent retailer, a proprietor or two partners or three partners are supposed to do all the work for the business, and every area of retail, in fact, has become more complex, right? Meaning it is just not about buying and selling now. So there are a lot of nuances in buying, and there are a lot more nuances in selling, and there are many more nuances in even keeping the inventory. So all these dimensions have really increased the complexity of retail. And if you take even on the employee front, retailers having something like 80-90% attrition per year has become commonplace. So that means, a retailer cannot spend too much time on training people, because the average tenure of a person in a retail business is getting shorter and shorter. So that means, the business have to be run with the systems, with the tools, and with, where people can get in and they can just start contributing as soon as they join a business. Those things are only possible if the business has the right systems and the right business processes implemented the right way. So I would say in today's scenario, IT is a hygiene factor. Without IT, nobody should start a business.
Thank you. And I also want to know, how your journey has been. How did you decide that you will kind of develop affordable systems for retailers? Also, how your journey has been in the last few years. I know Go Frugal for the last 20 years almost, and how this journey has been, and what are the significant milestones that you have crossed?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Gibson. I think the reason I started Go Frugal is, as a, I can say a primary school or middle school or, high school student, I used to handle most of the shopping for the family. So I used to visit the markets almost every day. And that is also one way for me to escape from the drudgery of studying. So doing the chores for home is the nicest escape you can get, because nobody will complain. So when in 2003-4, there was a lot of talk about foreign direct investment in retail. And those days when I was visiting the markets and shops, I basically felt that, most of the retailers were not using any technology. And if they were using some technology, they were mostly obsolete, and they were only used for accounting, or in some cases for billing and things like that. And these two were not integrated at all. So I felt if foreign direct investment comes in at that kind of a market, it is basically like a part of the army fighting with AK-47 and nuclear bomb and everything, and the other the people who are supposed to compete with them are unarmed, right? They don't have any tool or any technology to fight. So I also felt that the entire vendors who are servicing retail were very small, and they don't have the, they neither have the revenue base nor have the capital to invest in R&D to build the solutions that will really equip the retailers. So that is when in 2004 I decided that we will basically build the software that will help give a level playing field to the independent retailers. So that was the basic idea with which we started. And I would say the journey has been really exciting over the last 16 years since the time we founded the company, mainly because there has never been a dull moment, right? So see, making huge amount of money is one part of the business, but all the time feeling, challenged, and feeling, there is, as you, peel the layers of the onion, right? And you go deeper and deeper. What are the wisdoms you get on how to run this business, and how do we add value to these customers? That has been the exciting journey. And if you ask me about the big inflection points for our business, I would definitely say the demonetization and GST are two things that stand out for any business. So I don't know whether there is a, in some cases, whether there is a method to madness, right? But the way things have been progressing, right, where there is demonetization, which pushed many businessmen and many consumers to adopt digital, and then there is GST, which even took that push even further. And the post GST, all the things the government has been doing in terms of the e-invoicing, or the improvement they come up with, the GST return filing, and all that means that a business that is digital has a huge advantage over competition that is not digital. Yes, a business that is having a good IT system, right, has a huge advantage compared to somebody who has a very average or weak IT system. So it is, technology adoption is becoming a key to the survival or, the growth of any of these business is a great turning point in our business, because we are no longer nice to have for any business. We are a must to have, and we are a key differentiator for every business. So that's the best thing that can happen to any business. So that way we are very happy.
Thank you. So insightful, sir. And I know that, we started off maybe 20 years ago when you started off, 18 years ago when you started off, that is in 2004. That's the year when we started the Retailers Association of India also. That's the time when we had very big people. I mean, we had that time JDA, we had TCS, we had Oracle Retail, and we had SAP who took over, another organization, and then we had IS Retail, SAP is industry specific retail, and so on and so forth. So otherwise we had legacy systems we built. I mean, Polaris was there. Then we built quite a lot of systems in terms of merchandise management system or a supply chain management system, customer management system, and things like that. So all these things were kind of put together and put in a package, and we were using them until kind of innovations came in, through cloud. And I know that you were one of the early adopters of, new technologies. So you can take the audience through that phase of your organization.
Yeah. So, see, I believe if you take any technology, they have to have a sort of a democratizing effect. So that means technology benefits the lower strata of the, any business, right? The bottom of the pyramid much more than people at the top, right? So that means whether it is computing or whether it is mobility, whether it is cloud, all those things, if you ask me, the best value for them is for the smallest of the business, right? They should basically make these tools affordable to them. They should make these tools available to them, and they should make these tools give a huge competitive advantage or a differentiated value to them. So that has been our belief all along, and that is why we always start with the smallest of the businesses, because we believe we can add the greatest value in that segment. So whether it is taking this cloud and mobility and internet and computing technology is concerned, and I can say a combination of all this, how do we deliver the biggest value to retail is concerned. So we have been thinking about it, and last 6 or 7 years back, we started the digitization. So if retail will be completely digitized, how will it operate? So we did not look at it as using the existing processes and building tools for it, because when we did the computerization, mostly the way the work was done is we were taking existing business processes and computerizing them. Whereas this digital was offering a huge opportunity for us, where we completely reimagine how the business process has to be done. If it has to be done, totally reimagined, right? Reimagined business processes. So the main thing we kept there is the current conditions, like how can a retail business be operated with the minimum staff? Because having more and more people is a huge challenge for the retailer, because finding manpower is a problem today, and retaining manpower is even bigger problem in retail, right? And the second thing is, how can we help retailers have the least skills in their manpower? Because the more skill you expect, the more difficult it is to get the people, and the more upskilling you have to do to get them to perform on the job, there is more cost to the retailer before they can perform. And when they leave, it is also more harder to find a replacement, and this can result in a discontinuity. It can affect the business continuity. and it can lead to problems in the operations. It can lead to inaccuracies in the data. It can lead to poor decision making. So a retailer will be on a downward spiral. So so that also leads to the retailer having the ability to get accurate reports all the time. So we identified our core values as we have to help a retailer run his business with the minimum staff, least skill, and accurate report. So we fixed that as our goals as we completely digitized the business processes, reimagined the business processes to build new tools. I will just give you one example to make the point here. So if we take the procurement process in a retail, typically a retail business issues a purchase order, and then against the purchase order, the supplier will deliver the goods. So the supplier will give a delivery challan with the goods. So the guy who is receiving and verify the goods against the delivery challan, and then the invoice will go to the accounts department. Then the invoice will be verified against the purchase order, and the invoice have to be verified against the delivery challan where the actual physical goods receipt is marked. So in a typical retail business, this process is happening where there are 3 two-way reconciliation. So the 2 documents are compared, 1 document and physical goods, and then 2 documents, and then 2 documents, PO and invoice. 3 comparisons are made, 3 reconciliations are made, and the 3 are two-way reconciliation. We reimagined the process where there will be one three-way reconciliation. So there is only one three-way reconciliation. So the guy who is receiving the goods can blindly say what he received with the help of the mobile phone. And in the back end, what is physically received, what is in the purchase order, and what is in the invoice. The invoice can be directly received electronically or manually input. So we replaced this 2 three-way reconciliation into 1 three-way reconciliation. So in this process, we have de-skilled the person who is receiving the goods. The guy who is receiving the goods need not read the delivery challan or invoice and compare the physical counting of the goods and make a tick mark or something like that. So we every role, every year we ask every role in retail, how much de-skilling have we done? How much skill he doesn't have to have, right? How much training he need not have, so that there is a continuous effort to de-skill the job profile in retail and bring a lot more accuracy to the operations in retail. When somebody does physical goods versus delivery challan reconciliation, because he will read the delivery challan first, he will have a bias to count 9 as 10 because he has read that there should be 10 pieces. So that is error prone. Whereas when you do 1 three-way reconciliation, such errors are eliminated and the operation will be more accurate and mistakes will be less, and the process is much more controlled. That's what is our goal, and that's what we have achieved.
Thank you. That's it. I mentioned a few big names. I know that you are competing with them, and there are some things that set you apart. You also have not the small retailers. You're number one in maybe in the entire South India, and you also have larger formats like Jayachandran and Tamil Nadu, I know. So with all these, so kind of what sets you apart, and what are those things that you did to set yourself apart from these big guys who are competing even in this space now?
Yeah, actually, I would say there are 3-4 things that are very different about us compared to the rest of the competition, whether you take small or large. So the number one thing is, for example, from security, right? The kind of attention we give to security, because we understand retail, the scope for theft or pilferage is very high. And at least in 50% of the cases, people who are employed in the shop collaborate with people, and there is a theft or pilferage happening in retail. So there is a very high focus on security. So from the time we launched the product 18 years back, we have been focusing on audit trail. That means anything and everything that is done in the system, there is an audit log for it. So, every year, probably in 20-25 cases, we have helped the retailer find the real root cause for theft or pilferage happening in the store by just analyzing the audit trail. We actually give these audit trail reports to retailers. We encourage them to see the audit trail report every day so that they know what are the exceptions happening in the store. For example, the bill cancellations or bill edits, or some item getting deleted in the bill, or any price change made, any discount given. These kind of exceptions have to be reviewed, but most retailers don't look at them till they have a big problem in their store, right? But we have been having this audit feature for last 18 years, and we are actually happy that from April 1, 2022, Government of India has mandated that every business should have audit trail for all the accounting operations done. So this will really improve the quality of IT solutions used by the retailers. So that focus on security is the first part, I would say, that stands out. Second is the focus on accurate data capture. Since retail is an environment with high attrition and a lot of unskilled people, or by education qualification they don't have much qualification, they are using computers for the first time and things like that. It is very important that the solution have to be mistake proofed. So every time there is a problem that is happening in the retailer, the way we have approached the problem is, instead of looking at the data entry guy made a mistake or the user made a mistake, we always look at it from the point of view of how can our solution prevent this mistake. Because it is one thing to let the user make a mistake, let the owner find it out after 6 months or 1 year, and then go and explain to him why the user made a mistake, how he should train the user. But we understand that that's a lost cause. So we have learned a lot from our experience with the retailers, all kinds of mistakes users can do. And we have done everything we can to make sure our solution is mistake proofed, and we can eliminate the user from making those mistakes, or we catch those mistakes very early and bring it to the owner's attention. So that is the second thing that I would say we are highly differentiated. And towards this, I would also say, as we do this, we have not made the system very complicated, right? So we have always focused on how we can be the vendor with the least number of keystrokes to make a bill or any other transaction. So that means as we do this, the user need very little training or no training. The operations are done very fast, with very little keystroke and the minimum keystroke, and the time taken to perform the operation is low. So these things are all our focus, so that when somebody wants to invoice, in fact, in 2005, I told this to one customer. He told me, "Oh, you have worked with large software companies and you have delivered software to large US companies. How can you do software to my shop boys? My shop boys did not even pass 10th standard." So I immediately gave the laptop to him and asked him to call one of their shop boys and told him, if your shop boy cannot cut a bill in our system without asking me a question, I have to close down my business and I have to work for you. So that's the attitude, that we bring to this business, because we design software for the users. If our user didn't cross 10th standard, then I have to build software for him rather than telling our customers to find a different set of users. So the attitude with which we build this software is very, very different in that sense. And the third and biggest differentiator is, at least from 2016-17, we have, we know retailers need support. Whenever they face a problem, they need immediate support, because when they have customers waiting for them in the store, they can't basically say that I'm waiting for my IT vendor to rectify the problem. So we, in 2016, I understood that the best ways to support the market is to make the product support free. And if there has to be support, to make the product self-serviceable. So we focused a lot over the last 5 years on making the product, self-serviceable and support free, so that, number one, we use what is called this IoT, the Internet of Things concept, to proactively identify a problem before a problem will happen, so that these automatically tickets are filed before the user realizes there is a problem that is coming up, and things like that. And we also proactively warn the user and give him a video, 2-minute video or 1-minute video, which take him to the preventive action that he has to do. So we have focused a lot on this prevention is better than cure. And I would say in the entire industry, we would definitely have the lowest support per customer per year, right? Because we have done a lot of automation in the way customers have to update themselves, in the way customer can self-service themselves, in the way customer has access to such self-service material and things like that. And in fact, one thing I'm very proud, what has resulted in this is during GST time, we got into this digital support. India is known as a voice country, and India is known as a do-it-for-me country. Customers expect you to do everything for them. But in such a country, in 2007 May, we said we will only serve customers through chat and we will give self-help videos. So over the last 5 years, we have been serving all customers through, only in the digital model and in India, right? And I would say that has been one of our biggest victories. And the fourth and final thing I would say is we are probably the only company that has completely reimagined the entire retail business process, for the digital era. And we have built, we have defined those new processes, and we have built tools, digital tools for those new business processes, so that every employee in retail can have a smartphone, and in most cases they will be asked to do what they have to do, right? And the solution will be so intuitive that people can start working without any training, right? So we have come about 70-75% of entire retail operations, we have such digital solutions now, and over the next 12 to 18 months we can offer a very complete digital transformation solution to retailers. And the biggest thing here is most of the retailers can't afford a separate digital transformation team that will work for 2-3 years to select and deploy a completely new digital transformation solution. So we have built the solution in a way that customers can adopt digital transformation in an agile manner. So they can first adopt digital solution in a blue ocean area where they don't have any computers, the process is completely manual, and slowly they can adopt a digital solution in every other area of the business. So in summary, I would say we are a hugely differentiated company when it comes to our product and services. In fact, when we completed 10 years, we prepared a document where we wanted to see what are the things we did first in the market, in the Indian market. So I can say today we can claim at least about 20 things, in our 17-18 year journey that we are the first to do in the market.
Thank you. So nice to hear that, you've done such a lot of work, and also, you've done you've done a big digital transformation. That's good to hear. Coming to analytics, we used to have analytics like, the store operating analytics, like, we used to measure footfalls, conversion, ticket size, and then we used to have, the average, customer purchase value. And then in terms of stocks, we used to work on stock turns, and on optimizing margins, how much is the gross margin, because it works in a unique way, because retail is the only thing where there is an MRP, and then with national and regional brands you have the cost kind of determined by the manufacturer. So you work in on thin margins and things like that. So analytics became very important. But now what's happening is the transformation is happening in such a way that the pure retailers are also getting into e-commerce, in a multi-channel format or an omni-channel format. And also, the other way around also is Amazon, setting up Amazon Go and things like that. And this is becoming a very significant area of focus even for retailers to develop their own website, because they no longer would want to, wouldn't say no longer, but they're reluctant to go with marketplace retailers, because the retail price is not under their control, because they're more focused on driving top line, and they're not kind of worried about the brand focus. So most of the brands wouldn't want to go with marketplace retailers, and they're trying to develop their own websites to protect the profile of their own products. So in that case, this market is becoming big, because a lot of even homegrown retailers and even entrepreneurs are coming into e-commerce, doing e-commerce, and that's becoming a big business. I think this 3% share that e-commerce has taken, I think hopefully in the future it's going to be kind of 10% and more. That's the forecast that we have made. So how ready are you, and what do you think retail organizations what do you think should do to kind of adopt technology for e-commerce?
See, if
And are you looking at it seriously?
we are looking at it very, very seriously, because it is it is a necessity that every retailer is a omni-channel retailer, right? Because what I tell all the brick and mortar retailer of today is that for them becoming omni-channel is not an expansion strategy, but it is a customer retention strategy. Because you don't want your customers to go to like, for example, if somebody has been buying grocery from one store, you don't want to create a situation where they will go and taste an online grocer, right? A Big Basket or Zepto or somebody like that, right? So the basic idea is that for a brick and mortar retailer, this is first a customer retention strategy, because to retain your customers, you have to make sure you are available online, they can order online, and you can deliver at home, and they can pay online and things like that, right? And when you do that, you have to get the same experience as they will get from any of the big brands that are only in the online business, right? And today, with the technology that is available, we can provide the same experience. In fact, Go Frugal has launched Order Easy app and the Go Deliver app, so that a brick and mortar retailer can do that to their customers. Because any consumer, for 50, 60, 70% of their need, they will actually come to the physical store, and for their 30, 40% of the top-up needs, they want the convenience of delivery, they want convenience of online ordering, and that is not something these brick and mortar retailers should miss out on, right? So it is a customer retention strategy. It is a strategy to get the maximum value from the customer wallet. So that's what we say. And in terms of going to a marketplace, I am sure you are aware about the ONDC, the Online Network for Digital Commerce.
Yeah.
And Go Frugal has been one of the early partner with the ONDC team. And in fact, Go Frugal is the only seller side ERP that is integrated with ONDC today. So the Online Network for Digital Commerce is a platform, or it's a network that is being created by the government of India. It is much like what UPI is to payment. ONDC will be to the e-commerce and marketplace kind of a business, because the intention here is to create a very a level playing field for all the participants, and where the marketplace is having an arm's length relationship with the seller, right? So how can you have that digital equality, right, where there is a level playing field for everybody to do business? So that is what the ONDC is attempting to do. And so what can a retailer do with when ONDC gets launched? In fact, today's newspaper, there is a news article that said about April 10th or something, ONDC pilot is starting in about 6 cities. And then once the pilot is successful, it will have a nationwide launch. So a retailer, when he registers with ONDC as a seller, right, ONDC gives the ability for buyers to discover them online. So now the buyer side app, so a Go Frugal customer will have the integrations available to register with ONDC. And companies like Google Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm are all making the buyer side app available in their app. So that means somebody who is using Paytm can go to the ONDC menu, and they can discover your shop that is available in the ONDC network, and then they can place order from the Paytm or Google Pay or Phone Pay kind of an app, and they can also pay to you. And like this, a retailer registering himself as a seller the same retailer can also register himself as a buyer and buy from another wholesale or a distribution dealer from anywhere by discovering them. And even delivery boys and organizations or companies that are interested in logistics can register themselves as logistic provider. So that means that to me, ONDC is a network which will truly empower every business that has the eagerness to serve their customers, eagerness and aspiration to go online and things like that. And it truly democratizes the marketplace, because every business of any size and every size can be registered with ONDC. So that is the platform with which we have been working very closely, so that we make this ONDC network available to the retailers, and retailers can have a can become a seller or buyer and the logistics provider using the Go Frugal tools, and service the market in a very healthy manner.
Right. So we know that IT is playing a major role in terms of even in e-commerce. You very rightly said, with the launch of ONDC soon, things are getting better and better. The shops are going people-less with Amazon Go launching in a big way. On the other hand, we have people like IKEA coming with very large stores, So, and Decathlon having set up very large. So many of them have put up very large store. The Rebo Mart in Bangalore set up a very large store for a very unique, product category like the building products, like paints and cement and TMT rods and things like that. I mean, that's what they are selling, interiors and things like that in a big way. So when all these things are happening on both sides, on online and also offline, big formats. On the other hand, small retailers are also growing in a big way. There is a big future for them also. So what do you think, the future going to be? And whether IT is going to completely change the face of retailing, or there's going to be, the adoption of IT is going to fuel the growth of retailing. I mean, what are your thoughts on the forward path?
So I believe, as I said, IT is a key differentiator for a retail business, because if you look at the retail business of 10 years back, there was extensive operational focus for the retail business owner. Right? So somebody can be in retail only if they are extremely operationally focused. So what technology can help them do, which is the need of the hour today, is a retailer have to be more customer focused and market focused to survive. Because when you want to offer, online service, when you want to offer delivery as a service, when you want to have a physical store, when you want to offer delivery takeaway to your customers, right? And when the merchandise mix is changing all the time, where you have to understand the consumer behavior, you have to understand the consumer preferences and things like that. So the retailer's focus, has to shift, significantly from being too operational focused to more market focused and customer focused, if they want to, survive and thrive in the business. I also believe, see, retail is finally all about convenience. So that means the neighborhood stores, have a bright future, because, most people, human beings are at the end of the day social animals. And, a retail store is a place to socialize more than, just buying. It's not a transactional place. And the people want that experience. So for some time, some occasions, while people may go online, right, when they don't mind the product getting delivered after 2 days, or when they only want price and things like that, most of the time, our need to socialize, our need to be in a social space is what is driving us to the retail store, right? In fact, I was in Phoenix Mall in Chennai a couple of weeks back, and I went there after 2 or 3 years, and it was amazing to see the crowd. Every shop was having so many people, right?
Yep.
And the car parking was so full. So that just shows that, people want to be outdoor and people want to be spending time in retail rather than just shopping online. So this also has a message for retailer in the sense that it is no longer about consumers coming to your store to pick up the goods and bill and leave. There should be some space to sort of socialize where people can sit and retailers will have to make it more and more experiential to make that to give a differentiated experience when consumers walk in. And they when they acquire customers like that, they have to make sure they are available online, they are available in the marketplaces, so that whether customers can walk in or customers want to shop from their comfort of their home, they are able to shop online also. So if all this have to be managed, right? If you in fact, I asked a retailer, what is the skill level required to run a supermarket 10 years back, and what is required today? So I asked him to rate it on a scale of 10. I asked this question to many supermarket owners now, and my customers tell me, if today a skill required to run a supermarket successfully is 10 years back, only a 2 on 10 guy can survive in the supermarket business, can run the supermarket business. So that means the skill required to be a supermarket owner today is 5 times more than what it was 10 years back. And a lot of those skills come from the technology back end. They have to evaluate and they have to deploy, and the continuous improvement they have to do in the process, and the continuous adoption of new tools that they have to do, continuous adoption of new services that are expected by customers in payment, in online ordering and all, they have to adopt. So it is becoming a lot more skilled profession today, and the only way it can be simplified to all the employees, such a skilled profession, is by use of technology. And especially analytics is very important. In fact, in my view, digital means, earlier even analytics reports were diagnostic and descriptive. They were just pushing more information and they were only doing a diagnostic of the problem that has happened. But digital in future is about proactive and being prescriptive. Proactive means the system has to identify a problem before it happens, and the system have to be prescriptive in terms of telling, how do I prevent the problem? How do I respond if the problem happens? Right? So the days of being diagnostic and descriptive are getting over, and only IT can be proactive and prescriptive.
All right. I think you've kind of enlightened us on how IT is helping retail growth, how innovations have been kind of fueling the growth of retailing in India. You talked about your own journey, your own milestones of how you've helped retailers in various phases. You also talked about the digitization and transformation, the digital transformation that is happening currently. We also talked about how adoption of technology has to be there, and how innovation is adopted pretty fast by retailers, and how analytics still helps retailers in a big way. And you talked about the skill levels being high today, and I've also seen quite a lot of learning videos from your organization that helps retailers learn about quite a lot of things. So I think we are coming to a close. And how do you think my last question is, how do you think the entire integration will happen, even with the media and communicating to customers one-on-one? How does that integrate? I mean, today social media is working on a silo. We are dependent only on a few players like Facebook and Instagram and things like that. So do you think an integration is going to happen along with technology itself? So one-on-one communication becomes better, and that itself, technology, your own systems themselves would serve as a media or a platform for communicating. Do you see that happening? That's the one question that I had in my mind. I wanted to get it off my mind to ask you.
Yeah, definitely.
Question.
See, definitely it is the need of the hour, because see, a retailer today may be using a highly technology driven organization that is in retail, may be using 10 to 15 different tools. They may use one tool for CRM, another tool for their marketing operations, a third tool for business intelligence, a fourth tool for ERP, fifth tool for something else, right? So a typical retail organization may use between 6 to 15 tools in IT, right? Maybe even more, to manage their entire operations. And what we believe is there is going to be a consolidation in the number of tools. Because when you integrate such third-party tools, you get, a common minimum program between the tools. And typically, best technology integrations are when the technology is available as a maximum integrations, right? And a lot of data, for example, data from CRM can be presented to a walk-in customer on the app when he is using it in a very contextual manner. For that, the CRM and the POS and the ERP have to be from, very, very extremely tightly integrated. So same way, when a consumer comes into social media platform and he makes a comment, when you are doing a billing in the point of sale for that consumer, if you know what the consumer had commented in the social media, you will be able to offer a differentiated experience to the consumer, knowing the consumer expectation. So I believe those are all things that are, definitely in the pipeline for Go Frugal. So our goal is to, over the next 5 to 10 years is to, how to simplify the life of a retailer, where if he has to use 5 to 20 tools today, how can we make it 2 to 3 tools, where one of the tool is from Go Frugal. So we want to offer a sort of a 360-degree retail. So everything in retail, how can we be the technology partner for the retailer? So that is the goal with which we have been working.
Thank you so much. It's been so nice to hear you speak quite a lot about, the role of IT in the retail growth currently and also in future. I think in the beginning, Mr. ARRM Arun said that, we would do an annual, he wanted us to do an annual expo and conclave. We'll definitely work towards that. I think with the Secretary General Vinod and Mrs. Bhavani Srinivasan working on these initiatives, I think we'll be able to have more sessions like this in future. And thank you so much. And I hand over the floor to Mrs. Srinivas.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the well-articulated questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I guess we have few questions, sir. People are raising their hands. Shall I ask them to go ahead, sir?
Please.
Audience, you can post your questions in chat box also, or else you can raise your hands. I can unmute you.
Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Please go ahead, sir.
I'm Ganesh Avti, based in Maharashtra, Aurangabad. I'm a Go Frugal partner. Actually, I am joined with Go Frugal since 2004. I am first employee for till 2010, and after that, I am working as a solution partner. Means, of course, from 18 years, I am engaged with Go Frugal. So, starting from starting career in Go Frugal to till date, we have such experience. I might personally feel that there is no competition to Go Frugal, because under one roof, as we studied entire market, our developers has let us say spent much more time in ground, not in AC office, and to learn the business. Our experience was that we visited customer places in supermarket, hypermarket, and grocery stores. We learned the ground level problems, and till date, whatever we have developed under one roof, let us say, starting from a small inventory management solution to accounting, let us say audit reports, let us say VAT reports, now GST reports, entire GST amendments also. Today we have done almost all things in GST. So not only that, main difference is that our main focus is in, let us say, Gramin, or let us say villages, where now retail is growing fast, taluka places or tahsil places or some small towns. From that area also, customers are eager to increase their business in retail, hypermarket, and chain systems. And most important thing, that even though are in, let us say, tahsil area, they are getting much latest things what is available in across India, or even say, I will say, across world. that kind of technology they are using because of our digital marketing or digital solutions. So under one roof, there are lot many customers. I will share my one best experience. In 2013, we are the first company who has launched digital store in India. On ground level, lot many customers are doing the business without any inventory, only with mobile and some few images with QR code. They are making their business in retail store, and I'm very much proud for that. We are the first vendor or first solution provider in India. All, let us say, experience or guidance, or let us say Kumar sir's experience across abroad and retail expansion. From that, we inspired a lot and launched such product in ground level, even in, let us say, Gramin or Tahsil area also. Our 90-95% customers are so much satisfied, even in Gramin area, because of our digitalization, our knowledge, our expansion and support. So I really wanted to share this experience with all your expertise or knowledgeable persons. And thank you for your, let us say, permission to talk and share my experience. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I could see Mr. Jayakumar raised his hand. Sir, you want to ask any questions, sir? Is there any other question from audience side?
Yeah, Mr. Jaykumar has come in.
Yeah, sir. Good afternoon. So I'm just new entered into the Go Frugal in the last, just a month ago. But however, I'm into the retail sector, especially into the pharmacy. I'm so happy that the way which has been developed in this Go Frugal was launched all the years of use by technology decided. But the one thing is what I'm expecting the Go Frugal side, how the importance is going to give in the upcoming days in the pharmacy retail, because so-called the corporates is being entering, and still the regular retailers is unable to be up to the mark in the towards the market growth. So do we have any special plans, or do we have any special focus? Because now I'm just going into the one step ahead of in the pharmacy, going to be keeping a benchmark in the pharmacy in a second stage. That's what my venture is started in the recent past. So I required the help from the Go Frugal side.
Yeah, definitely, Mr. Jaykumar. See, pharmacy is definitely one business where, if somebody is sick, they can't order and wait for the product to come. So that means there is a compelling reason for the existence of offline pharmacies. So, we are launching customer relationship management. We are, as I said, the way to go online so that you can service your customers online, way to be on the ONDC network so that you are part of a marketplace, people can discover and order from you. So I would say, pharmacy in one business that has to be local, given the number of medicines and other things that are available, and the preferences of the local doctors and things like that. So definitely we are strengthening our solution in the pharmacy segment also with the ordering app, and with the ONDC, and with customer relationship management, and things like that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
So there is a question in chat box. Mr. Sumesh, can you ask the question in direct? I will unmute you. Yeah, Mr. Sumesh, you can unmute and ask the question. Okay, so he said that you're good in standalone stores. RPOs is good, but headquarters is not user friendly with many limitations.
Okay. So I'm not, I feel sorry that Mr. Sumesh feels that way. Definitely, even in the HQ, it is very, very powerful to manage the back-end operations. In fact, in the supermarket segment, we have at least 250 different supermarket chains that are managing the 100% of their operations with this product. And we have close to 600 retail chains using the HQ solution. So definitely we will talk to you separately. I'll ask one of our solution consultant to discuss with you to understand where you see the limitation and how the system has to be used. Okay.
Yeah, you can take that up offline, Sumesh, with Mr. Kumar, and maybe specifically talk to him about the exact limitations that you face, and he'll be able to give you the solutions.
Thank you, sir. So shall we close or we can wait for some more questions, sir?
I mean, I think we can close.
Okay.
Somebody was raised a hand just now, so maybe we'll take that as one last question.
Sure, sir. One second. Let me check, sir. Yes, Mr. Shivakumaran. Sir, you can ask the question, sir.
Kumar sir, is there any roadmap in our customers directly interacted with the orders customer? Like customer want to interact with the shoppers. Like what is the order status or what is the offer, like that? We have already posted in the order EC banner itself, but some customers want to interact with the shoppers. Is there any roadmap, sir?
Yeah, we are having plans to integrate, we are working very closely with Zoho. So plans to integrate Zoho Click kind of a messenger so that the shopkeeper or the consumer can have audio or video call or, even chat messaging and things like that. So those kind of products will come so that there is we see a very, very good experience to customers, consumers by the shopkeeper is a very much required improvement now. So even when they are ordering online, they can get into a video call and see the product. They can get into audio call and talk about the product as part of the ordering. And these things have to be very simple, where every employee in the shop is able to just do it from their own phone. So it's just a back-end setup to make that happen. So we are working on those improvements and making it happen. So it will be available shortly.
Very nice. I think we can close.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Gibson and Kumar Bembu, sir, for joining us today. It was a useful session. Thank you for your support, sir. I request the participants to write to us or maybe call us to get more updates about the event. We will be posting all our activities on our website. Looking forward to your participation. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for your support.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, Kumar Bembu, sir, for your time. And
Thank
for
you, Mr. Gibson.
Thank you, Siki, for organizing this. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your support, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thanks.